Hi everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Motorcycles YouTube channel. I've borrowed the Nt1100 for a weekend, did the Northumberland 250. So here's a little review of what I think of the new 2025 Nt1100. This time we decided to use Apple CarPlay to its full advantage. So I downloaded a GPS mapping app to my phone, downloaded the GPX file for the Northumberland 250, popped it in and followed that little orange line all the way around. It was working great, but there was a little issue, so stay tuned to see what happened. So yeah, Nt1100, this particular one's a DCT, and we've even gone for electronic suspension. So let's pull over and have a little walk round. So we've pulled over for 5 minutes, so let's have a little walk around this 2025 Nt1100. So the first thing you'll notice, it is a voyaged up, because it is a demonstrator. Honda asked for us to put some accessories on them. So this particular pack involves a top box, the pad you can see there, and an inner bag. You get a comfy pillion seat, comfy rider seat, comfy foot pegs, and some spotlights. And you do get a tank bag, but nobody fits that because apparently it scratches your petrol tank. So we'll start with the changes for 2025. You've got way bigger wind deflectors here. As you can see, they're a lot wider than they used to be. Sadly, the screen's got smaller. Now I think it is a little bit more buffety, but on the upside is the adjustment, and it's done by this fella here. So if you want to go up, you pull it out, wiggle it up, push it back in, and it's as easy as that. So it's pull it out, wiggle it down, pick your spot, pop it in like that. I don't know why people are obsessed about doing this while riding along. You know, if you're not getting enough wind, pull over for 2 seconds, pull it out, push it down, job's a good one. Yeah. Now, when it's right at the bottom, you'll never reach. So just pull over, stop faffing around with the screen while you're riding along. It's way too dangerous. Just pull over like I have, grab it all the way up. There we go. So yeah. So you've got your new screen adjuster, you've got your new wind deflectors, and like I say, the front end's a bit wider. Now what you may have noticed is the indicators are missing, so we'll pop the ignition on. Now the indicators are in the running lights up through the side there. So we'll pop the winkers on. So there you go, your winkers are built in and they're nice and bright and they stand out lovely. So there you go. So the changes at the front for 2025, bigger wind deflectors, slightly smaller screen, but a mega easy to use adjuster, built-in indicators, and then you get to the back, the panniers. The panniers have got a lot wider. You can't actually get a helmet in the panniers now. You don't need to buy a top box. So if you didn't want to voyage it up, you would get your helmet in those panniers. But obviously it's down to the size of your napper. If you've got a big head, you might not get it in, so always try just to make sure. But Honda have made them wider, so in theory you can get a full face helmet in there. So that's the differences of your new 2025 Nt1100. So one of the things they've done for 2025, they've revised the DCT, which it is loads better around town. And they've taken last year's Africa twin engine and popped it in. Now you may say, well, it already had an Africa twin engine in, which it did, but last year's Africa twin had 7% more shove where you need it. So they've popped that engine in here. Now I rode the NT a lot last year, and this is better. You've definitely got more right where you need it, which in touring terms is awesome, because you want plenty of shove to overtake stuff. Even with that 7% extra shove right where you need it, you've still got the same 100 bhp and 112 newton meters of torque. But you have gained an IMU this year. Now the IMU talks to the ABS, it talks to traction control, and it talks to the DCT. So no change in gear mid-corner anymore. I think that's enough panoramic views for this bit of content. Let's head back to the shop, Newcastle Motorcycles, and we'll crack on with what we usually do. We'll have a sit and test, and we'll have a listen to it, and maybe a little bit of tech talk. So let's head back to Newcastle. Here we go with the sitting test. I'm your benchmark. I come in and climb aboard the NT so you get an idea of its dimensions. So I'm 5'10" with a 32-inch inside leg. And as you can see, I'm solid balls of feet with my heels just off the deck. Now the seat height on this fella is 820mm. Now I did mention in the Walkaround, this has got the Voyage pack on, so that is the comfy seat, which has the same stand over as a standard bike. But what you will find is the seat is a nicer material. It's really cushioning on the old backside. Now, as I said, seat height 820. Now, if you shuffle your arse back a bit, you'll find that it gets a little bit thicker at the back, so you've got a bit more room. You do have an Africa twin frame, so ergonomics is awesome. Leg position was excellent and handlebars were nice and high. So a proper mile eater, as I keep saying. It's great for eating distance, this bike. Obviously, when I do one of my videos, you've got to have your sound check. So let's fire up this NT and have a listen. Very familiar lump now, obviously Africa twin engine in the NT, but they've got a nice rasp to them through the exhaust. Now, while I've been riding this Nt1100 round the town, I have noticed that the DCT is loads smoother, loads better than it used to be, and I've always used rain mode for riding around town so you get a better throttle response. I generally ride in Sport 1 rain mode, so you've got the best of both worlds on the gearbox, and you've got a lovely, sweet, smooth throttle response for when you're bimbling around like this in amongst traffic. Definitely the way to do it. Now let's play with the electronic suspension. So back to the shop. Now this new Nt1100 Dct comes with electronic suspension, so let's have a chat about that. So you need to be on this dash here so you can see what you're doing. You go to number 4 and then you press enter. So enter on the dash, and now you're into what you want to alter. Go down one more to where the helmet is. So if we go sideways, and you may be able to hear, so that's rider and luggage, rider and pillion. Now if you were here and sitting on the bike, you'd be able to feel it moving like I can. So what it does is it's checking out how much weight's on so it can have the suspension set appropriately. So it's as easy as that. These are your presets. You can just rattle through, and basically I'll try and get my thumb and the dash in. So if I do that, hopefully you can see it doing its thing. So yeah, so that's your presets. So we'll come out of that. Now if we go to, when it catches up, urban. So as you can see there, back one, touring, hard suspension, urban, medium suspension, rain, soft suspension. So again, if you want to mess around with the suspension on the Honda settings, then just rattle through your different maps and you'll be able to change your suspension that way. Now you can, if you want to, mess around with it even more. So let's get onto that next. So you want to set the suspension personally for you. So what you would do is you would use user 1 or user 2. Now you want to set them up in the background. So what you need to do is, as I call it, the pages button. You flick that and it gets into where you want to be, and you want to enter into settings, and then you want to go to function, user modes, user 1, and we're in. So straight away, this is where you can alter your power, your engine braking, and now you're into overall suspension damping, soft, medium or hard, front suspension damping, and you can, you know, rear, preload. You can have a good old mess around with it. You could fiddle away till your heart's content. So if you fancied making it your own with your power, your engine braking, then your suspension, your front suspension, your rear suspension, you go into here, and that's how you do it. And I'm basically, let's try and get it all in, going through these here, and if I wanted to alter it, I just do that, so sideways, and hopefully you can see it going there. And you can hear it doing its thing. So if you want to do that, that's how you do it. So you would set that for user 1, and then do it again for user 2, so it's enter, and there you go, and then you use the little out arrow to come back out, and then use your pages button to bring it back out. So yeah, so if you wanted to set the suspension personally for yourself, you can do. But one of the good things, if you make a right hash of it, you go into settings, you go down to general, restore default settings. So you could go into there and you could restore it back to factory. So if you made a right hash of your suspension, you could just go in there and restore it to exactly how it was from the factory. I do hope you found this little bit of content interesting. Bit longer than normal for me, but the Nt1100 Dct electronic suspension does a lot. So yeah, plenty to look at. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, we had a GPS app, and we'll put the GPX file for the Northumberland 250 in it. Now what this app doesn't tell you is the road's closed up ahead. So yeah, I think if I'd used Google Maps, it would have brought that up, but we didn't. We used this little GPS app. Now what do? I decided to go right. Luckily it was the right direction, and we managed to finish off the rest of the Northumberland 250. So as I said, I do hope you found this bit of content useful. If you did, please thumbs up, and if you love what Newcastle Motorcycle's doing, please press like. And if you want to know how to do Apple CarPlay, you'll see it's up in the corner. So hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye for now.